It's episode 2 for Julie's Playbook, and on this week's episode, we're going to be talking about Antonio Brown. What happened there? Fitzpatrick, or is it Fitzmagic? And there's a whole bunch of injuries going around that Steelers front 5. So, all that and more when Julie's Playbook returns. Alright guys, so the first topic we have to talk about this week is Antonio Brown. A former Steelers employee tweeted out this week saying AB better thank his lucky stars because he was drafted by a team that had Ben, and Ben got AB paid. You know darn well he wouldn't put up those numbers for any other team. Of course, Antonio Brown tweeted back and said, "Trade me, let's find out." Well, the media went into an uproar thinking that the star wide receiver wanted out of his home in Pittsburgh. There has been no official trade talks. Antonio was just merely answering a tweet. It wasn't the best way to answer the tweet, but when he was supposed to show up and answer to the media Monday at practice, he was a no-show. Antonio Brown and his agent both confirmed that they notified Tomlin earlier that week that the wide receiver would have to miss Monday's practice due to a personal matter. But of course, Antonio had some previous social media stunts that didn't leave Tomlin too happy, so Tomlin and Brown met and had a very extensive conversation according to reports. There will be discipline from Tomlin to the star wide receiver, but nobody knows what discipline. I guess we'll have to wait and see come Monday night against the Buccaneers. Alright, so the next topic we have to talk about is Josh Gordon. Josh Gordon finally has a new home with the New England Patriots. This is a classic Bill Belichick move. He's known for taking lesser-known receivers or receivers that are on the decline of their career and making them into monsters. Of course, with 12 throwing you the ball, your stats are bound to spike. The Browns received a 5th round draft pick, and the Patriots got Josh Gordon and a 7th round draft pick. So, as I said last week, it wouldn't be a Julie's Playbook episode unless we talked about hometown favorite Terrelle Pryor. Terrell slowly finding his role in the offense with the New York Jets. Last week he had 4 catches for 84 yards, and this week he is playing his former team, the Cleveland Browns. So we'll have to see what happens there, but I look for those stat numbers to go up. So we have to talk about Jameis Winston. Jameis Winston was suspended 3 games at the beginning of the season for violating the personal conduct policy. So what do the Buccaneers do? They go out and they get Ryan Fitzpatrick. Fitzpatrick formerly played for the Rams, the Bengals, the Bills, the Titans, the Texans, the Jets, and now has a home with the Buccaneers. And in 2 weeks, he's put up stellar numbers. 819 passing yards, 8 touchdowns and 1 interception. He's leading the league in passing yards. So is it Fitzpatrick or Fitzmagic? Now here's the big question. We're going into week 3, week 4, Winston set to return. Now of course, as Winston was set to sit out his final game of his suspension, there's more allegations. Winston is being sued by his Uber driver, who Winston apparently groped in a drive-thru parking lot. Now, Winston seems to have a lot of off-the-field issues, and as we've seen, Fitzpatrick doesn't have on-the-field issues. So here's the big question. Will the Buccaneers ride out that Fitzmagic as much as they can, or will Winston get the start? Personally, I think Jameis Winston just might have lost his starting job to Ryan Fitzpatrick. Overtime rules. We had a tie week 1, a tie week 2. How many ties are we going to have? Players are starting to get upset because this is a competitive game. They're competitive players. The last thing you want to do is see your team end in a tie. I think we're going to have to see a little bit of a change happen next season. Maybe add some more time. Maybe just let the first person that scores win. I don't know. But this whole 10-minute overtime period and then that's it isn't really working out. Maybe we need to add another 10-minute period. I'm not sure. But next season, I look for more overtime rules not necessarily more, but the overtime rules to be tweaked. All right, guys, so the front 5 for the Steelers is looking, a little broken. Foster, DeCastro, and Gilbert are all on this week's injury report. It's been said that Foster has a little bit of a knee tweak, and he was just given the Veterans Day off. So I look for him to play. DeCastro, he tried to practice and couldn't finish because he was in so much pain with his hand. He wants to play, but BJ Finney did step in last week for him. I look for Finney to get the start again. Gilbert, he's down with a hamstring injury, so Matt Filer has been getting reps with the first team. Chooks and then Zach Banner are the only 2 healthy offensive linemen backups that the Steelers have. So thank God it's a Monday night game, so it gives those guys 1 extra day to heal. And I hope that all 3 start, but right now it's looking a little hairy for the Steelers' offensive line. Alright, so the Steelers have another issue. Punter Jordan Berry has been putting up less than impressive stats. He's punted 12 times, averaged 41.8 yards per punt, and only a 31.8 net average. Those are okay numbers, but they're not great. Mike Tomlin is not happy with the field position his punter's giving him. He brought in Jeff Locke and Justin Vogel to try out. There's no real word on how the tryout went or if Jordan Berry still has the starting position. Berry himself said he's really not worried about losing the job because he knows he can produce, and he did have a good day in practice. So we'll see if Forrest still suits up this Monday night against the Bucs. So Leve Bell, we have to talk about him one more time because the Steelers removed the final trace of him off the team. He is no longer on the roster. Bell was spotted out rapping at a nightclub in Miami, riding jet skis. He doesn't really seem to be worried about his NFL career or let alone his Pittsburgh Steelers career. Connor continues to improve, so I think the Steelers are just going to go ahead and move on with Connor and forget about Le'Veon. And if he shows up, he shows up, but as of right now, he's not even on the depth chart. Alright guys, so that does it for this week's episode of Julie's Playbook. Like, share, comment on this video, and stay tuned for next week's video.